I'm going to try and show you a normal workflow for me. It's going to be hard for you to see things at this size, so I'll go to a larger size and just start flipping through things and see if anything actually interests me. We saw these three sailors coming down the street, and it reminded me of a shot, pretty well-known shot by Matt, who is right over here. Well, come on. I mean, it's nothing. It's a bad shot. I was too far away. That's one of the most common mistakes. And then we started seeing these people coming down the street with bats and weird clothing, and I didn't know what it was. It turned out to be something I think called Comic-Con. I didn't know anything about it. But, okay, here we got two soldiers, different angles. I already started to mark, some of the stuff that I thought were possibles by giving them the white flag. If I want to, I can just show those. These are the ones that I've flagged. Let's zoom in a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, I'm looking at it in terms of why did I pick these ones? They were kind of strange. This was the one that, of all the shots, looks at first to be just nothing, and yet I like the best. The shadow, I'm gonna be stuttering a lot because I can't really explain it. They're both smoking. If I go up to 1x2, the glasses, the smoke, the look, they're on their way somewhere. Maybe they're desperate housewives from not from New Jersey, but from Pennsylvania. No offense, Pennsylvania, but I would probably see if I could do something with that. It'd be pretty tough. It might be tough in terms of cropping or whatever. But the first thing I would look at is, okay, go into develop mode, and I think about about cropping this. I want to make sure that it's really the faces. And the first thing I would do is just kind of go in and it's the faces. It's and I don't want to center them. I want that shadow. I want to maybe do something with the faces and the line of the shadow, and still have a sense of all these cars lining up, in the background. This is going to be something that I would normally play around with a lot. But for now, I look at it, I'm trying to picture first of all, is it better in color or black and white? That's like one of the first things I'm going to have to think about. And for now, since I'm playing around with color and Photomatics, which is a HDR program, just to try and squeeze them both in, maybe that's a mistake. Should I go for Photomatics, or should I just do a normal kind of black and white thing? Well, one of the things about Lightroom that's nice is it's very easy to see what it's going to look like with various presets. See, already I like this in black and white. There's nothing about the colors that are necessary. Look at this in high contrast. These are all presets that come with Lightroom. And the first thing I said was something about the shadows, that shadow coming down the street. This is, not doing anything with the shadow, but I've got them. And I'm going to start with this. I think this is going to be kind of like my beginning. I want to bring out the shadows. I want to bring them back. If I'm looking over here, I'm seeing like highlights really all over the place. In other words, there's no detail really in here, and I can fix that pretty easily if I bring down the high tones. I see a few things jumping kind of off, but if you look up here, you see that there's tiny little bits of it's glaring metal, essentially. So who cares? I mean, is there something in the glaring metal I want to see? No. So I'm going to keep things simple, I'm going to go with this. And first thing that comes to mind is I'm going to try and increase the shadow. So I'm picking the graduated filter, the easiest thing in the world to use. It is for me because I've been using it for a couple of years now. And now I'm controlling through this box. I've got my choices of exposure, brightness, contrast, saturation, clarity, everything in the world, including color. I could mix it up and make this part sepia and, whatever, but I'm not going to do that. I want to use the shadows as much as possible to get your eye to go to these two women. So I'm going to even darken it a little bit more. This is using the brightness as opposed to like the higher end. I'm going to take this down a little bit. I like having the contrast very low around the main subjects. The clarity is something that I use a lot, and the sharpness. I will bring that down in these areas, and then sort of take care of the traffic a little bit. I can bring down. You can already see a bunch of things being brought down, maybe too much. The graduated filter depends on if you want to. You've put one up and you see that it's a little too narrow, too strong. You can pull these things around. It's very tricky because I also don't want to get her face. I don't want her face to be darkened, but I do want the sidewalk. And you see me moving the centerpiece. I'm going to move it out a little bit. Wait, what if I go like this? I kind of like that. I'm not done yet. I'm going to go for more on the top. I'm really framing them as much as I can with kind of darkness and pulling the contrast down. All of this stuff that I'm doing is going to make them stand out more. At least that's kind of the hope. And then I am going to go down to the black and white mix. And I'm going to go back to the black and white mix. And this will deal with the underlying colors. And in this case, it's basically just the luminosity. So I can actually pull, you can see what those colors are underneath because you see the sliders moving. And I'm going to see if I can pull this down a little bit. I want to zoom in. I'm going to go to, again, 1 to 2. No, I'm going to go to 1 to 1. And this is by holding the space bar and the mouse at the same time. And I'm going to turn off this guy. Okay. And now the question is, when I'm moving this around, I'm basically dealing with just this kind of, and this really is a specular highlight. You can see all the spikes coming out of it, which is, in other words, this is basically glare. But maybe I'll take the whole car or all these cars. I don't always know what exactly I'm going to do. I'm gonna see what I've hit so far. By moving this, I can see that everything that's in red, I have essentially painted or masked, and I'm gonna get these guys. I might even make my brush a little bit bigger and get these guys. I'm gonna really get these guys, but now it's definitely time to brighten them up a little bit and brighten the whole thing up. And you'll notice also the highlight warning is not on anymore. Recovery is on. Recovery is dealing with all of this stuff over here, all of really highlight kind of stuff. But look at fill light. Look what happens if I give him a little fill light. Give him a little fill light. Another choice I have, I mean, it's filled with choices, is, how much contrast do you want? And there's a lot of ways of dealing with contrast. This is one way where I'm dealing fairly precisely with the highlights. You can bring those down, bring them up. You can see what's happening in the histogram. I could bring the lights down, I don't know what you call that part, but I can take right before this guy here is really dealing with the serious shadows, the zero things that are really black, and I could make it fairly really contrasty there, and then I can bring this part up a little bit, and then I want to go back. You can also go along the curve here. This tone curve I can't say how many different ways there are of using it. But okay, for now, let's say we leave it like that. The fill light, I'm gonna pull up again a little bit, and then I'm just going to, because I don't want this thing to go on forever, I want to look at the sharpening. But there's your finished well, okay, you know what? It's not really finished. I want to bring this down even a little bit more. I want to make it more of a kind of 4x5 sort of size rather than I want to get a little bit of that, but I don't want them there. And this is the kind of thing that honestly I could play around with for hours before, and then somebody looks at it and they go, "Hey, nice shot, Dave." But most of the work was done in post process.